for tonight's Grimm adventure. We find ourselves in Cincinnati, Ohio, visiting the Dent Schoolhouse. Our visit here at the Dent Schoolhouse is a part of a series that we've been doing here on YouTube where we visit some of the scariest haunts in the country and turn the lights on and show you how these haunters choose to scare you and your family. And the Dent Schoolhouse is one of the best, and we're going inside. And you know what, baby girl? I love every chance that you get, you turn into a bat.
This is my favorite jacket because it is literally bat wings, and I love it. It's so cozy.
In just a few moments, we're going to go inside the Dent Schoolhouse with one of the owners, and he's going to give us a tour, telling us about some of the strange things that have been happening here since they have taken ownership. Some things that they found in the basement, and if we're lucky, maybe Jessica, we might get a scream out of you or two. Now here's the thing. They did assure us that there are no scare actors here, that it's just going to be Jessica and I and the owner, a guy by the name of Bud. Most, if not all, of the haunts, like the animatronics, the air scares, are turned off. But weird things happen here, like seriously, weird things happen.
That makes me more nervous.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, baby girl, even though we're going in there where none of the scares are turned on, we're gonna see some rather interesting sights. But something did happen when we first pulled up, right? We were talking about the Dent Schoolhouse, and what happened?
Siri from the iPhone kicked on, and we were talking about how sometimes there's activity in the house and sometimes the house is asleep. And as soon as I said, oh, it's okay, the house was just sleeping, your phone kicked on and said, I'm sorry, and the Siri voice, and we weren't doing anything with the phone at all.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Hey, I'm Bud. I'm one of the co-owners of the Dent Schoolhouse here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And right now you are in our fall festival, which is kind of where our guests wait to get re-pumped up before they go inside the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse was built in 1894, shut down in the 50s. We're gonna get into the true legend of what makes it really spooky inside, but I figured this is just fun because it's built to be eye candy and it's built to bring Halloween and excitement to hopefully you and of course every customer that comes through. So there's tons of pumpkins, as you can see. There's over 250 plus carved pumpkins, plus there's I think another 150 plus rotting fake forever pumpkins. So I mean, this is its own pumpkin patch before you even get inside. It looks legit, doesn't it?
Oh, it's not though.
No. So it's meant to look rotten, but that way we can just keep rotting pumpkins around all season.
Like rotting marks too. Like I really thought that was real. I thought you maybe had like freeze-dried it or something. I don't know, is that a thing? It could be. We'll start it.
Yeah. So we're in the fall festival.
This is amazing.
Appreciate it. This is where our customers start, and like each booth kind of tells a story. So if you pay attention, you kind of understand like, oh, I'm going back into the 1950s. And of course we have our ticket taker, because you had to have tickets to play games and all the different booths.
And they always had the fancy mustaches.
They did.
The ticket barkers always had these.
The curly cues. Yeah, I missed that. So costumes, we figured it is always Halloween in the fall festival. So there would obviously be some type of costume contest, and we'd go with the classics. You've got a Drac and a Frank, and they've spent a little time on their costumes. Probably some locals, what we think, you know. The Dent crowd got into it. So we figured the fall festival would have a bunch of really fun games back in the day. So of course, axe throwing here at our bone throw. It even has real bone backing for, of course, our axes. There's of course different booths on the left and the right, which allow guests to kind of feel like it's just everywhere and there's things happening. And then of course the Boo Blaster, which I think is one of my favorite, which would kind of be like one of those BB gun hits, which of course does have a native ghost here showing off what she's up to.
In doing this series, we've learned that haunters like to name the corpses or the monsters or the ghouls inside the haunts. Does she or he, this spooky person, have a name?
I've heard Jeb.
Jeb.
I have no idea why, because usually there's like different reasons, but I guess someone was just like, yeah, this is definitely Jeb, and so sometimes it sticks.
It looks like a Jeb.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all this painting, like this is phenomenal.
Yeah, so our artists are fantastic that do all of our scenic detail work. And what essentially happens is, you know, there's layers of latex underneath here, and then of course they come in and paint them to make them look pristine and nice. And then we go through and we rough them up, we make them look cracked, we actually dorp down the outer layer. And even too, like just rewinding, the wood before they're painted is also aged, so you're getting that natural, gross, distorted wood, even though this was all brand new.
So next looks like we got the Witch's Brew?
We do. So we've got a resident witch, but then we've also got some trick-or-treaters that are enjoying the ride. And this was actually one of the cauldrons from a cauldron ride back at Coney Island that we've been able to salvage, fix up, repaint, and almost make like new.
Man, that's cool.
Right? Since we have so many pumpkins carved, we needed a place that it's happening at, and our resident pumpkin carver here. Of course, then we've got just kind of fun, spooky ghouls that are hanging out too. So you've got kind of like this classic ghouly vampire guy. And then, of course, a good old basketball hoop shot. But they're all heads, you know. But they do work, and they do fit in there pretty well.
This one kind of reminds me of Slash from Guns N' Roses.
It does. Oh. It's just kind of a fun space, you know. It allowed us to do a lot, have a lot of different props. And of course, even have some of your more classic characters like a Wolfman, and like you saw earlier too, like the Frankenstein and humans that were just enjoying costumes. So it's just fun to go back and kind of be vintage. It's a lot of pumpkins, isn't it?
It's so many.
It was great too, because it gave us an excuse in like the summer to carve nonstop for days, because we had to.
It's pretty amazing. It's impressive.
I mean, it was fun, and the thing you don't see too is, so we're using Christmas pixel technology, so those little LEDs you'll see on houses that have synced music and whatnot. So we took that and stretched it out so we can actually change the pumpkins any color. They dance to the music, so we can do a full light show with 225 carved jack-o'-lanterns just here. And then also like the rotten pumpkins that we have everywhere also have the pixel technology. So like during Christmas, they can turn red and green, or during our lights out show, they can match the theme. So it's really allowed us to not only just have like flickering candles, but the pumpkins can have a life of their own while you're walking through. It's its own show just to watch.
I've picked out a pumpkin to start my own little boo movement, if you will.
Which one's that?
I don't have a name yet.
The one with the heart eyes and the mouth?
Heart eyes, yeah. It looks like it's blowing you a kiss. So if you happen to come to the Dent Schoolhouse and you come through the Fall Festival line, you have to blow him a kiss, or her a kiss, as you go by.
So that's the Jessica pumpkin.
This is the Jessica pumpkin.
Every haunt has something that's named Jessica, so when people come by, they can get a picture with the Jessica pumpkin.
Yes.
My baby, I've adopted her. Yeah. Them.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you could spend some time out here just getting selfies and enjoying the different music and the shows. And you'll see some crowd, of course, just want to get into it and get scared. So like, I want to get to the front. Where some are like, no, I want to stay and like Planet Halloween here and take it all in. So of course, we're totally cool with that. Like, enjoy it, love it.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, anywhere between a couple minutes to 15, 30, just out here. And then the inside, the walkthrough, anywhere between 20, 25. But you'll find too that once you start going through the natural curvature, people just start really speeding up, like, I gotta get out of here.
Now also, keep in mind that we're walking through this during the daylight. Technically, this is a lights on tour. We're not showing you any of the scares. When you come here, we want you to be surprised, but we just want you to really appreciate the artistry that goes into this. With that being said, this place probably takes on a whole different environment, a whole different world once the sun sets. Like, I can already see some of the lights going on, and Jessica's over here. I think she wants to take home this weird clown that's ripping off its face, kind of like the movie Hellraiser. We're going to get to it in just a minute.
We have the same color hair. We might be related, but really, I think he's just trying to be as cute as I am.
So maybe the Jessica pumpkin isn't. Maybe this is you. People are going to get a picture with you, the green-haired Hellraiser clown-looking face. It makes sense. It's the hair. Yeah.
Yeah, so when the lights go out, there's actually a projection that happens on the back wall there. So the trick-or-treaters are watching an old 1950s Halloween cartoon. So we want you to relive that as if the schoolhouse is like stuck in this time period. And we do really want you to like relive this horror movie. So as soon as you're on the property, you're met with our characters. And then of course you really jump in once you go through the front door.
All right, so Jessica gave us a quick sneak peek at the Jessica clown. They move. So tell us a little bit about these three. What's going on here?
Yeah, so we've got a face painting booth, and you know, there's always, it seems like, a way that clowns infiltrate anything and everything. And this was our way of course, bringing back some classic clowns and kind of circus vibes. And you would typically have a face painting booth at some type of festival like this. So the pumpkin smasher booth, you know, that's a big thing with fall festivals and whatnot, are to just, you know, pumpkin chunking and smashing pumpkins. But we also have our character, Pumpkin Smasher, who of course, this is kind of like a salute to him. Yeah, he's got a big mallet and loves smashing heads and pumpkins. Yeah, so we got our balloon burst, and you would typically have where you were throwing arrows or darts at balloons. So we figured mesh the two together with kind of a vampire and have a blood balloon burst. Kind of makes sense.
I want to play this game. I want to go to this carnival so badly. Well, as soon as you're done with the queue, you walk right outside the gate here, and you're at the very front of the Dent Schoolhouse. There's that bus again where Jessica and I were doing our intro. So it's like you're getting off the bus or just getting done with some sort of creepy recess and you're going back into the haunted school. I love this.
So this is the schoolhouse. She's, you know, intimidating.
It is.
We have so many people right here that pass out before even getting inside.
Are you serious?
It's,
Did people tap out?
Yeah. That's why I say usually right before you enter a haunt is usually the scariest moment of an attraction, just because you are so heightened.
I understand that feeling because I'm a little nervous right now.
Well, hopefully, I mean, we're here to catch you, but do you want to test it out? You want to go inside?
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So I figured it's only appropriate now that we're inside to kind of tell you the lowdown of the Dent Schoolhouse, because there really is a story that we follow this legend. And so legend has it, it opened up in 1894 and was a legit schoolhouse. It was 12 of 13 and then later shut down in the 1950s. Obviously that's a huge gap of time. And in between there was a janitor at the time that was causing some havoc and supposedly killing several of the student body and was putting them in the basement of the schoolhouse. He was using that as kind of a way to cover up and hide things. And of course it was kind of like something out of Frankenstein, to where the smell, since it was seeping up from the floor, started alerting some of the locals. They pitchforked in, went to the basement, found the discovery of what had happened, and of course the schoolhouse was shut down. Fast forwarding, later on it became a machine shop and a dry wharf, and then after that became one of the previous owner's actual homes, to where he passed away upstairs. So there's a lot of things that seem to reside here, and it's not just a commercial haunted attraction. I mean, there's things that are unexplained. I know outside we get to see a little bit of that, but when you're inside, there are footsteps, there are shadows, people have been pinched, there's light orbs we've caught on camera and that some of our staff have seen. I mean, you name it, it's probably happened or is here. And don't forget the smells. There's also weird smells that will start to come up that shouldn't be there, and it's not our sense, and they'll just go away like that. So there are tons of stories in this graveyard here at the Dent Schoolhouse that most people don't even realize, because as you start to finish, you're just too busy screaming and getting through, but there's a backbone here and it's pretty freaky.
Walking into places like this, I firmly believe that probably the biggest fear that you're going to experience is the one that you create in your own mind walking into a place, because you've heard the story, you're nervous, you're getting amped up, and then you see the cool things outside, maybe a little bit of scare actors inside and screaming, and you really kind of do it to yourself, but we enjoy that. Why do we enjoy that so much? It's such a rush.
Well, you know how this is going to go, right?
I'm going to scream. I got to go first, I know.
You always got to go first.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one with the story. I'm the one with the camera, so therefore you got to go first.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just trade off.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
You get to go first, and right from the get-go, before we go any further than this all feels like you're actually walking into a world. Not a movie set, but a world.
I mean, even with the tall ceilings, like we want every sight line, every square inch, we want you to feel like you're walking into this world of the Dent Schoolhouse.
And we're not going to show it all. No. Consider this a tease into the haunted world of the Dent Schoolhouse. All right, baby, go on.
I feel like I'm in a story. Yeah.
After you.
We'll see if it ends well for me or not.
All right.
It's actually really sweet, but I'm so... Oh, I think I owe you an apology. I did a cuss on camera because it went from a really sweet moment to completely petrified in a split second, and it caught me off guard, and I said the S word.
It's all right, I bleeped it out.
Okay.
Oh man.
If they move, I'm running. And I'm knocking you both down.
Now we're not going to have this light on the entire time because, like I said, the light is on here inside the haunt. So we can see everything, so my legs are shaking. I'm just being honest.
Do I still have to go first?
Yeah, of course you do.
Thanks, love you too.
So again, the Dent Schoolhouse.
Oh.
Right now we're walking into a classroom.
I always thought empty schools were creepy just by themselves. If you ever had to go to like an after schools class or sport and you had to go inside the building and no one was there, it always freaked me out.
We're what, 2 rooms in and this is already pretty terrifying?
The thing that has my heart rate up the most is that I know that the air is off, the sounds are off and all of that, but things have a way of moving on their own. And I know it's going to happen, that one of them will activate and I will not expect it and I might have a heart attack. So I love you guys if I don't make it.
And one of the things we really love about doing these videos, most of the time whenever you walk through a room like this, you're terrified, you're scared of what's going to come next. So you don't really have time to just kind of take a moment and take in the sights. I mean, look at this. All the freaking detail that goes into it, and it's a little unnerving. Oh man.
It's so quiet, I almost feel the urge to whisper. That guy pulled his guts out.
He sure did, baby ghoul. Oh man. So there's 2 floors. There's this floor, there's a basement. And we're also going to take the camera up to where they do makeup and wardrobe and show you the bell as well. Things that you typically don't get to see. Man, this is a little crazy. We just walked through this room and we were stopping and talking about some of the hidden Easter eggs here. And I did this to a chair, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's dust. Now, for every like haunted house that you go to, of course, you know, there's a creative team, they make things. And I smelled it while we were talking, and it smells like real dust, like I'm walking into a creepy, rundown attic filled with real antiques. And then you said,
we do our own dusting here to make everything look lived in.
That's the extra mile that most people don't realize, or they have no clue. And that's one of the things that makes you guys you. So much respect. Now, you're also talking about this guy here. I don't know if I can pick, I'm not going to pick it up.
Yeah, it's I think she's just laid it on top. Yeah, because there's the original.
There's the original one.
Yeah. So an Easter egg, which is my business partner Josh. And so we do find that our crew likes to create different pranks or different theatrics that they add to the scene, and we find them later. And of course, this one just happens to be Josh is one of the principals in this photo here.
Much respect the first big room, aside from a hallway, and already blown away. I'm like, the dust is freaking me out.
So yeah, it's fun being in here because, you know, back in the day when the Boy Scouts had it before us, it was all old school 90s haunt. So it was the black walls, you'd see Michael Myers and Scream and all your classics running through. And then when we took it over and found, of course, that there was this legend that just happened to be sitting in the basement here, we realized there was something different and special about this house. And we wanted to like capture that and bring it to life. So that's where we're like, everything has to be somehow related to the school. Like this legend, this Charlie, there's no Mickey Mouse of horror in our market. And so that's what Charlie became. This janitor and this really terrible story started fueling what we have now, our theming. It allowed us to keep pushing to go from black walls to a more scenic, real Hollywood-style haunt. And now especially to just the amount of like research that goes into what would a 1950s schoolhouse look like if it was deteriorating and it had mold and it had water damage. And that's what we do. And that's, I think, something that's forgotten about is the artists, the scenic crew, and just even build crew and design crew. There's so much research and effort and love that goes into our scenes that you don't see because you're usually head down and running through the room. But that helps you head down and run through the room because we're creating that kind of environment.
Continuing into the schoolhouse. This is a hallway. Got the lockers there.
Why are lockers so creepy?
The creepy floor is what's getting me.
Ew. Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's so creepy.
I could see these things coming to life and chasing me through this freaking schoolhouse, and especially that one right there in the middle. I don't like them.
The one on the bottom is the stuff of my nightmares. His eye is looking directly into my eyeball and he won't let it go.
Definitely say this. As we started moving across the country visiting some of these haunts, we started to realize how terrifying some of these mannequins and monsters would be just based off of their eyes alone. I mean, look at that. I wouldn't want my kid playing with one of these. Speaking of creepy dolls, baby girl, I think you found some friends.
No, thank you.
No?
No, thank you.
Man, and they are tall, larger than life. I'm 6'2". This one here is just as tall as I am.
So I'm 5'3"-ish, and her head is way above my head. That's horrifying. A doll bigger than me.
The thing will chase you down.
Oh no.
Baby girl, I'm sorry. I kind of peeked ahead a little bit. And all I have to say is you, dear sir, you and your team are pretty twisted. All right? And you can have the next room. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh no. Like, who are they angry at? Are they angry at me or her?
I don't know. But just like, I mean, I don't want to walk into this room.
He seems a little happy about it. He seems to like the violence.
Oh, you completely missed this. There's a kid getting paddled.
I know.
It's so easy to create images that will terrify you, whether it be bloody or somebody from your favorite horror film. But what truly scares you and what lingers with you is whenever something gets you and you can relate to it. This room is making me, it's taken me back to the 4th grade, something that I completely forgot about until just now. 4th grade, I wasn't a very upstanding student. I was a little bit of a troublemaker. And,
You know.
Oh yeah. And in the 4th grade, I used to get sent to the principal's office all the time. And the principal, his name was Mr. Fuller. F-U-L-L-E-R. He's probably not still alive, he was pretty old. But I remember going to the principal's office, terrified. And he would say, all right, turn around and grab the chair and bend over. And he would have this paddle that had drilled holes in it. And man, there's a paddle with drilled holes in it in this classroom. And I'm sweating a little. And there's the paddle right there. And not the paddle that actually got me, but man, this is like, my legs are shaking. It was pretty terrifying as a young kid.
It was also fairly common. By the time I was in school and close to the age you were when that happened, we had already done away with that, but I had heard stories, and they used to actually hang the paddle as if it was like a piece of memorabilia in the offices. And you always heard, like, there was always a rumor that they were going to bring it back. That, yeah, even our parents talked about it. It wasn't just this rumor amongst the kids. It was a rumor amongst everybody because it had actually happened, and you kept hearing that, oh, well, they did away with it last year, but we heard they're bringing it back.
Yeah, so this is one of those scenes that's just truly a nightmare, and I'm sure some can relate to where you're having a dream of everyone pointing at you, or you forgot your homework, because when the lights go out and the sound comes on, like, they're all laughing. This room soundtrack are kids laughing.
Oh, gee, thanks.
That's right. So you can choose, are they laughing at you? Are they laughing at the kid getting a little corporal punishment here? Or it's both. But it definitely changes the room when just everyone's laughing and pointing. It's just, yeah.
Every corner we take, it's just a little bit more creepier than the corner before it. I mean, I don't want to go to this school.
So next, of course, any good schoolhouse has a library. And it's pretty neat because the librarian here has, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of books. So it's actually like a real library. And you'll see posters on the walls that date back to the 1950s that are old academia things about how you should study. And, oh, a couple things going on. Sure. Again, anything happens when we're walking through.
That's making the hair on my my arms.
It sounds like a typewriter.
Right?
And they did do typing back here, so it's just us still. Promise.
Jeez Louise. You heard that, baby ghoul?
I heard it.
And that was it.
Huh.
All right. do you have any idea what that was, or
Maybe.
is it a prop?
I mean, all of our circuits, I made sure all of our circuits are off. So
Okay.
none of our animations, it's literally just overhead lights and us, so we can have a nice chill tour. So
Chill tour, he says. Man,
now I will say something then. So
Okay.
that corner,
that we just walked through.
yeah,
Right behind you.
Right behind that corner is actually one of the original offices to one of I guess the officials here. So we have had actors talk about the pinching ghost, or the pulling ghost, to where it's usually about this height, but someone's being pinched or their costume will be tugged on. Because at different times through this, design, we've had like drop panels and different scares. So back there is an emergency hallway or an actor panel, but this little section here is known as the pincher area.
And something like literally just happened right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm not surprised.
Hair does stuff, and always like fussing with my hair, but it was like,
Now we just walked into the stairwell,
yeah.
and out of the blue,
I started doing this
and why?
because it felt like my hair moved in a really unnatural way. Like I'm always fussing with my hair. You guys see him on camera, fussing with my hair. But it felt like I had walked under something, so like something kind of went like that.
Like almost like cobwebsy?
Yeah, almost like something got caught in my hair, and it kind of made my hair like tickle in a very unnatural way. So I started doing this, and I was like, something just touched my hair. It felt like something touched my hair, and my hair is very dirty, so my hair is very heavy.
But
So it would take a lot to just move my hair by something touching it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now this is a turning point in the house, correct? because here at the staircase, in the stairwell, you have part that goes down back there. That's where you would go, and then there's a staircase over here, which takes you up to some behind off-limits areas like wardrobe and makeup, which we're going to show in just a little bit. But we got to make it through the house. We'll try to make it through the house. You okay?
I'm good.
So we've heard a weird sound. You've had your hair played with.
Yeah.
We're not even in the basement yet.
Just standing here in the stairwell. There's somebody hanging there. This place really is making me a little nervous. There's just something about this place.
She's so still too.
Right?
So this is always a big moment for our guests because obviously the legend always talks about what happened in the basement. And since we are still an old school, you have to go down the steps. And we always know like that look, like this is going to be a pivotal moment you're going to remember because when you look down the steps, you know it's like, all right, there's no turning back.
All right, peeking around the corner. Oh, man.
The stairs themselves are eerie, and I didn't see the body until the last second.
I feel like I'm getting ready to like investigate a crime scene.
I actually feel like I'm walking down my grandmother's cellar. But she didn't keep bodies in her cellar, just jarred fruit.
Oh no. Oh man, this is really creepy to look at. Don't walk too far ahead, you might get lost. The schoolhouse might swallow you up.
Well, there is a small child eating his own hand. It's funny you say swallow me up.
Visually, this place is disturbing as all heckins. I did not expect this. I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong.
So we're in the basement, and this is the arch maze. And this is probably one of the most terrifying places just because, first off, you're in the basement of the schoolhouse. And there are usually a team of 2 to 4 people that run this area, but they are so good at what they do and they can bob and weave in between the bars and the arches that you don't know if it's a prop, you don't know how many times you're seeing that person. It gets very dark in here because the lights above too are just the domes. And the domes, the actual effect changes every time you walk through. So, because it's computer driven. So certain ones are lighting, certain are not. So shadows are not your friends down here, and nor the monsters.
I promised Jessica that we would trade off where she would go first and then I would go first here and there.
Your turn.
My turn? Well, see, this one's okay because nothing's going to jump out and scare me. So you're not going to catch me screaming. Oh, well. This one kind of made my stomach drop right then and there. It's another one of those creepy life-size dolls. Okay, that made me jump.
It's got to be just the spring.
Well, this was open. Well, I mean, it was shut, right?
It was.
You could hear it bounce though, like it bounced.
Yeah.
Again, it just happens sometimes.
Weird things are starting to happen. Things that shouldn't.
And that's not even mechanical. That's just a door.
Right? As we walk around, we keep seeing children down here, strung up in some twisted way.
That one is way too real.
Right?
That one is way too real.
I'm trying not to touch them as I go, out of paying respect. Yeah, it looks pretty freaking real. When we first arrived here, we were standing out front, the niceties, hi, how you doing, introductions and stuff like that. And on the side of the building, you have a little timeline that talks a little bit about the history of it. And in passing, no camera, you started talking about what it was like when you guys first took over this place. And you told us a little story about when you found out about what happened in the basement. I don't think we shared that on camera yet.
I don't think we did.
No. So, can you tell the viewers what you told us earlier? It was pretty unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, so it was me, Josh, and my dad, and we were very fresh to the industry, and it was pretty cool because we got to like watch the Boy Scouts as they ran this attraction their final year, and it was our year of purchasing. And, you know, again, it was all old school movie props and black walls. And there was one thing that stood out though. And in the basement, there was this scene with like a chalkboard, and there were ghost children, and there was no other school relation to this building other than this scene. So at the end of the night, we're sitting around talking to the staff and the crew, and I was like, "What's the deal with the weird ghost scene and the kids and all that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's I don't know, it's a legend. Janitor killed a bunch of kids, put them in the basement, walks off." And it was one of those like, "What? What did we just hear here?" There's this thing, and that was like the starting point of like, we need to find out what happened here, what the legend is, what the story is, and we need to make this the schoolhouse.
A lot of haunts, they have different floors, different rooms, and a lot of times it's not one story that touches each room. So this in itself is pretty rare that you guys have done this, where from beginning to end, it tells a story. Like you said earlier, it was a movie. It's almost like you're in a movie from beginning to end, and that's how they wanted to make it. That blows my mind. So much respect for creating this and terrifying your neighborhood. This is too real.
And it's great too. So obviously he's an animation, and right now he looks just very stiff, but he's air driven like most of our animations, but he's jointed. So I'll simulate, like even he kicks, he's jointed. So it's legit. If he was a live child, it's probably the closest you'll see to, yeah. You can add the rest into with that, but yeah, it's...
Yeah. If you want to see this all in full show, you got to come to Cincinnati, because we're definitely going to come back.
Yes.
Yeah. This is insane.
Oh. He looks like he's
I can
breathing.
smell and taste this room right now.
He looks like he's breathing. He's not. He's probably a solid piece of foam, but he looks like he's breathing.
This is definitely one of the creepiest rooms I've ever walked into.
Monkeys.
For a haunt.
There's always something behind me. Every time I turn around, I'm like, oh, there's another thing.
Did you say something, baby girl?
Yeah, I said that was a weird feeling.
Why? What happened?
Just as I was coming to right here, and I looked over at him because I know he's not real, and I just wanted to see, the optic illusion with a little better lighting. It felt like the floor dropped. Like I literally went as if my feet fell out, like there was a drop floor underneath my feet. But I'm standing on solid concrete, so obviously that didn't happen.
Well, kind of solid.
Kind of solid?
All right.
So I had to interrupt, because when you said that it felt like the floor was giving way or like hollow underneath, it kind of is. And that's why I had to point it out, because it was kind of freaky to me. So if you look down here, you'll see two different concretes.
Yeah, this one's dark though.
Mm-hmm. So this lighter one right here was actually brought up so they could investigate if remains were still in the basement.
Were there?
There was a shoe found, and it was a child flat. So how did it get there?
It's like a freaking vampire lair or some sort of crypt down here with 3 different coffins and giant spiders. You seeing this, baby girl?
Oh, those are real.
Did you just duck under the head?
Yes.
You can't just duck under the head.
I'm small. I fit.
Now, here's a little wonderful thing about Jessica and I. Our very first apartment together was in Savannah, Georgia. And our coffee table was an actual coffin. But not like a coffin that would go in the ground. It was a display coffin for people who
We're being cremated.
were being cremated.
Yeah. So
Now,
the bodies would be on display for a short time for the wake.
yep. And our coffin,
It was very similar to this one.
when you opened it up and you saw the pillow, it had makeup from whoever was in it before. Mm-hmm. Just to show people that when they'd come over, it was like a little like...
It came with a certificate.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It did.
And then whenever we moved across country from, well, down to Florida, we had to get rid of it because we didn't have the room for it anymore.
We tried to move it, and I think it broke.
Yeah.
So we were just done with it.
So coffin rooms to us
They're kind of cool.
are kind of cool. They remind me of home, our very
Even
first apartment
A little
together.
romantic.
Right?
Yeah.
You gonna pet the spider?
I wasn't going to. I didn't want to disturb the web.
Don't disturb the web, but that's looking pretty pretty
Cool.
gnarly.
Yeah. I was going to pet his leg a little bit, but I didn't want to disturb the...
Blow him a kiss. This whole room. Like, I love that the cobwebs are all over everything, and they're done so well. It's not
Beautifully.
like there's cobwebs everywhere. Like, it's too much. They're
No,
just
this is like
perfectly
natural.
placed.
Yeah.
This is probably the most unique clown area I've ever seen. Now, we were told that this is the clown PTA. Now, you have to keep in mind that all of this is still within the storyline of the schoolhouse. So of course they'd have a clown PTA. Of course they would.
Teachers think that students love clowns. So
Right?
this is a carnival being put on by the PTA, I think, to like as a fundraiser, and of course they're going to do clowns. It's this school thing.
Now, there are a lot of people out there who are absolutely terrified by clowns. Here at the Grimm Life Collective, we're not really that impressed, but then we saw this place, and I have never seen a clown area, or let alone a clown PTA, that has impressed me like this. Like, these guys look twisted. I'm kind of peeking around, and what did you just walk through?
Cotton candy bodies.
Cotton candy bodies?
I think they're bodies. I see a foot.
Yep, I see a head. I turned it around. Where did you go? Don't leave me in here. I'm just gonna say it, baby girl. This is even cooler than the killer clowns. These guys are looking just... Everything about this place is realistic. Like, you can kind of lose yourself and completely forget that you're in a haunted attraction. That's amazing. Baby girl, I think I found my favorite clown. Look at this. I don't know what it is, but I love whenever these monstrous creations are ripping off their own faces. I think it's because I love the movie Hellraiser. But that is just something else.
It's unsettling.
Right? Man. And instead of skin, it's her clown mask. I wonder if this is where the smell of popcorn is coming from. Because it looks like he's dishing out some pretty
Sinister snacks.
sinister snacks indeed. And what I mean by that, you got eyeballs and body parts in the tubs of popcorn. And speaking of eyes, all right, I'm gonna say it. I love clowns. Not your typical clowns, but clowns like this. I mean, these guys really go above and beyond to create something terrifying. These clowns are terrifying. While I was in there spending a little too much time with the clowns, Jessica ran ahead. So I'm trying to track her down, and it has led me to a freezer, a deep freezer with bodies hanging. Of course there's bodies hanging. And then I heard her make a sound that went, what? And this is why. Oh no. Wait, is this the cafeteria? Mm-hmm. Whew.
It's so gross.
This is insane. And of course, I had to save this wall behind Jessica for the very last. You're still over there shaking your head in disgust. Not disgust like it's a bad thing, but just...
It's gross.
It's gross, and it's supposed to be.
You can smell the rotting flesh.
Right?
Too.
There's at least 2 rooms in the Dent Schoolhouse where I can smell it, I can taste it, as well as I can see it. And this is definitely, I can taste this cafeteria.
It's a little nauseating.
Walking through, I was talking to Bud and Jessica, and I said that I knew that coming here, this place wasn't going to be your average run-of-the-mill place, but I had no idea that it was going to be this well themed on the inside. And lights on tour, walking through, this place is terrifying. It's freaking us out because of some weird, unexplainable things. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this taste, this imaginary taste out of my mouth. Like, whew, no.
So yeah, speaking of that smell, the name of that smell is called something bad, and it's exactly what it is.
So you do use certain scents. So we smelled popcorn. We're smelling, obviously, something bad. Mm-hmm. You guys, the lengths that you go to creating an atmosphere for people here at the Dent Schoolhouse, it's blowing me away.
Well, we want you to, like, there's nothing like going into a scene or anything where you're like, I can smell the plastic or I can smell the latex.
Right?
Like, we don't want that.
Fresh paint.
Yeah. No, we want you as you're going through, like, obviously the schoolhouse has its own mustiness, so we appreciate Dent for allowing that to happen. But these other areas where there should be rotting flesh or fresh popcorn or even pumpkin spice, we pump those in so you're right into it.
It's on my lips.
Yeah, it's
on my lips.
It'll be for a while.
One more look before we move on. Oh, baby goal. Maybe, you know what? Yeah, never mind. We're done.
It actually smells worse in here.
The other room?
Yeah.
All right. If we need to get out, how do we get out of this place?
So we do have emergency exit doors in just about every scene. So if we got to chicken out, we can get you out.
This is insane.
Oh, the corner smells so bad.
Oh. Yep.
I didn't come all the way over, but I found out why. There's dead bodies over here. I know you want me to take the mic, but it smells so bad.
You gonna peek behind the curtain? Oh, yep. Ooh. Huh, that's realistic.
Oh.
This is realistic.
Oh.
Right? Oh.
It's like you just opened the refrigerator after like something went bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going. You're over here laughing about this. Oh wow. Okay. Whew.
I resorted to my hoodie.
Oh, that's a shot. Wow. You were just all smiles with us walking through here, feeling like this was, I say this in a good way. This was almost too much. Like this is This is intense. Like what you guys are doing here, this is intense. This is next level.
Well, and it's something you didn't get to experience since this is the body dump, you know, when we're done with cooking, you know, humans. So this is actually industrial grade, is meant to actually hold like cows. So this is rotating while you're walking through, and typically these are actually airbags that have body parts sewn to them. So you actually have to go through and touch.
So it blows out?
Yeah. So you're walking through the bodies and the garbage left over from the cafeteria. So this is pretty good right now. But yeah, when it's inflated, you are in a sea of gore. And sometimes there might be a live body that's actually coming at you while you're in the middle of the gore.
So you're scaring people visually. You're scaring people with sounds. You're scaring people with smells and touch without even touching them. Yeah. It's just the environment is coming to life and terrifying people. Wow.
You got to hit all the sense and senses and everything. That's what we try. Like actress on here, and you're in the middle.
Oh.
Like I legit heard people. Like I heard a girl scream, but like a laughter kind of scream, and then I heard laughing, but it was so far away.
I heard that.
That's really weird.
Was that a car lock just now?
That was a car lock, that one.
So what's weird though is so the midway is actually right over here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not around any like thing per se.
It was like, ah! And then like a laughing.
Because if you're looking at the footprint of the schoolhouse, we're at the furthest part from the street. So, which I always say, like, if a ghost or an attacker is to get you, this is the worst part to be in because you have so much more to run through to get to the exit. If you're
I just thought maybe someone had walked in off the street because we ran into people earlier.
We're fully locked, so no one can get in.
Well, you hear that, right?
There's definitely voices. So I've gotten pretty good. I've got like echo. I can usually tell you exactly where someone's at if they're in the building.
So you got haunted house sonar.
Yeah, because I can be like, oh yeah, that's someone over here. I can even know creaks, so that way, because you're here long enough, you start to be like, it's
you know that.
I didn't think ghosts. I immediately thought, oh no, somebody wandered in or something.
What I'll do, here, let me peek out.
Oh. Next
Quiet
up.
out here.
What's that? It's quiet?
Yeah, it's quiet out here. Maybe it's just...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, but like it was I heard it very clearly.
So there's nothing outside. It's quiet.
No, yeah,
we're hearing voices, and we're going to the prom.
All right, let's go, Carrie.
Oh gosh. Hello, guys over here.
Gosh, it's a ghost ball.
Oh man. So again, above and beyond in something completely different. How many times have we walked into a room that has
a band, sort of?
How many times have we walked into a room where there's these ghostly figures covered in a sheet, but there's only one here and there? Like they're all like individual. Here, they're dancing.
They're dancing. This is really cool.
I can hear this music in my head.
What's it sound like for you?
It's almost like a little bit of like a waltz, like a
Oh,
ghostly waltz.
Okay. I was kind of a little upbeat tempo for me.
I can see that.
Yeah.
There's a sign on the wall behind you that says Halloween Ghost Ball. Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we're hearing these ghostly noises and we're in the ghost ball. And this scene's been around for a little bit, and we've always tried to figure out different ways to freshen it up and make it fun. And we know with the school, you have to have a dance. And we thought how neat to now have them all dressed as ghosts and this to be like the theme of the year of the Halloween dance is ghosts. So they're all sheeted up. And the other neat thing too, like this arch, it's actually pieces from an old dark ride from Kings Island, which is an amusement park here that we've retrofitted.
We passed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was called Phantom Theater. And the Boy Scouts back in the day acquired some of the props when they were clearing it out. And so I like to say that the Phantom Theater lives on at Dent because those are part of like what we've put in as the arches for the ghost ball here.
Now the ghostly figure that's behind you on stage, is that an animatronic or is that actor controlled?
It is a full animatronic. Now obviously there could be some live bodies in here, but it's neat because there are actually some animated versions of these in here as well. So you could see them actually dancing. Which so at that point you're like, is this a live person? Is this a live person? It's a great distraction.
All right, so we have to ask, what kind of music do you guys play in here?
Well, you both were correct. So each year we try to change some things up. So I've had everything from like ghost waltzy music to upbeat 1950s, 1960s tunes, the Sandman song that you can find in Halloween. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the mood of the dancers.
Nice, nice. Is it usually like the same song throughout the night, or do you have like a multiple different within the genre?
So typically now for this scene, I usually try to land on a soundtrack for the year. That way everyone coming through can have kind of that same experience.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yearly it changes. So this is our makeup room. We can run about 12 plus different stations at a time. So we can crank out our actors. We predominantly use cake makeup, latex, prosthetics, silicone, and there is some airbrush use as well. Obviously, some of our costume characters are also silicone masks. Yeah, they're working on some sculpting. We do our own prosthetics at time.
I noticed this on the wall. So it says Tater Award. Tell us about the Tater Award.
So the Tater Award was actually started because of Scott Tater. Scott's in the industry. He's a great guy. Now works with Froggy's Fog. And at one point gave us this piece of foam skull structure. And he's like, all right, do something with it. And he's known for great acting and great cue line acting and whatnot. So we decided to make the most entertaining award because we do try to find different awards and things that we can do for our actors at the end of the year. And so this is sought after because this means you are the top dog of the year. And yeah, so the Tater Award was born. And as you can see too, we have to actually add a plate, a whole new edition this year for 2022 and to come. But yeah, it just means you are highly energetic and probably, I mean, you
Nice.
just always brought good character to your show.
Very cool. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. The Tater Award. The year's most entertaining.
Yes. So as we know, this was really a schoolhouse. And as it is a small world here in Cincinnati, one of our actresses brought her grandmother up. And she happened to be a student back in the day here. She was too young to really remember about it being shut down, but she remembers having to change schools. So she brought up her class picture from 1949 and 1950. And I believe she is, I think that one right there. So it's just kind of one of those reminders of like, this still has a lot of history to it and is
Right.
real.
When it comes to the old school bell, we can't get to it because you have to climb into some craziness, which we're not going to be able to do, but they actually have the rope here and it's in the shape of a noose. So I just pull it?
Yeah, just pull it.
That's cool.
It's empowering, isn't it?
Right? Now please tell me, during the night, do you guys just come up here and just do it randomly, or is there like somebody ran out? How cool would it be like if somebody was going to go into the haunt and they chickened out and you have somebody up here going, oh, it's the chicken out bell.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's and it's like, cause you can hear it, like the neighbors can hear it. That thing just like rings across the schoolhouse and Dent area.
It's almost 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night, and I'm waking up the Cincinnati neighborhood. I'm sorry if you're watching this.
They know the schoolhouse. They know it's the
Okay,
season.
cool.
So yeah, they're okay.
Well, thank you for letting me ring that. You want to ring it, baby? You got to. Here we go.
properly do? What's the rhythm that you have to get to go ding, ding, like the classic?
I think
you did it earlier.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you want it to sound.
Yeah.
I like a good single ring and a good beat.
Yeah.
So you got like
there's an art form.
There is, yeah. So now I'm on the spot. Let's see if I can do it here. Gotta feel it out. Get the beat.
Now you're just showing off.
I've got a little, experience, so.
And
Very cool.
Play the scares.
Yeah, thank you for letting us ring that.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, baby girl, we are done with the interior of the Dent Schoolhouse here in Cincinnati, Ohio. About to go into the midway. He's gonna go get it turned on. What'd you think of this place? It's crazy.
It's difficult to think of it being more spooky than it was today. I'm sure it will be with scare actors in it and sounds and all that on. But I have some questions. And, the things we heard inside that we have no explanations for. And it's just one to remember, it's one for the books.
Right.
It's a great experience.
I'm still tasting that basement.
That's
the
why I have
cafeteria.
candy.
That's why you have candy? That was intense. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It was disgusting, but that's what you want to see.
I've never been grossed out by any of the scent canisters until today. The entire time that I've been going through haunted houses my entire life, I've actually picked them up and deeply inhaled them, trying to figure out the smells, going, I like that. That reminds me of my childhood. And you guys were like, whoa, what? Turned out to be like a antifreeze smell, but this is the first time a scent canister has actually bothered me and made me nauseous. It's not easy to do.
So this is the monster midway. We know that people want a little extra bang for their buck, an extra boo. And we realize that when you leave Dent, you still want to leave on a high note and you want other things that you can do. So we brought 11 plus photo ops that all have these huge monsters that are animated and interact. Each one's a different theme, some themes that Dent would never have. So it's another way to experience monsters that you'd never get to meet, like the pumpkin behind us. We've also got our own donut trailers, so we make fresh donuts and fudge and apple cider. That speaks fall. You can get your souvenir photos out here. There's Pumpkin Smashers axe throwing. We have a haunted house museum that just tracks haunted houses since they birthed here in the Midwest. So we specialize just on Cincinnati's history. We have 4 mini escapes. Each escape room is themed after one of our characters. There's a DJ booth that allows for live music. We have a larger gift shop. We just wanted something to be a little larger than life when you left, as monsters start to come to life. So we just find it a fun way to end with another type of fall festival activity. And we love it. It's really cool. Yeah, they're all just fun pieces that we wanted to build, and each one has its own facade. This was hand carved, the jack-o'-lanterns, which has the big pumpkin monster. The Dent Daycare is kind of like a salute back to all the different classrooms and things that we've had. And you can finally get your own photo with one of our dolls or teddy bear. The bear's awesome.
The bear is amazing.
This is really cool. This is probably one of our most popular areas. So it's an electric chair that we have an actor that runs it, but your friend can sit in it and it shakes and bakes when the air's on, and it's great for TikTok, Instagram. It's just a fun experience. And of course, we love Christmas Nightmare, and we love the meshing of the 2 holidays. So we have a booth that's just designed for that, and I'm sure will become much bigger once the actual Christmas season comes. We do have the Demon Knight over here, and the Demon Knight's been with us for a long time. He used to be inside when we had this big waterfall scene, but then he's been kind of a photo op, and now we've brought more life to him. He's fully animated again, and we just can't get rid of him. He's kind of like a classic creature for us now.
You are completely ticking all the boxes of what I want a haunted house to be. An experience, not just the conga line through the house, but just an experience.
Yeah, and that's what it is. We're trying to transport you somewhere else.
Like this one over here.
I love this scene. It's just so cool.
So the Dent Schoolhouse is amazing, mind-blowing. But then you bring us in here, and not only are you creating something unique and terrifying, but you're also preserving the art of the haunt. Tell us a little bit about where we are right now.
Yeah, we love haunted houses. That's how we got into the business, because we loved Halloween, we loved going through them, and we loved decorating our houses. Of course, we get to do it as a profession. But Josh, my co-owner, my business partner, was a collector of haunt sorts. And then Randall, who used to be a haunt reviewer, had this huge arsenal and database of haunted house memorabilia, artifacts, posters, and we realized as this accumulation kept growing, it's like, we need to celebrate this. Like, I don't think a lot of people know like how haunts started and how, I mean, the Midwest is one of the birthplaces of the commercial haunted house. Most started as charities, and then of course we grew into what we have today, but this is just like a small, like, little tidbit of what we're now stepping on as haunted houses today.
This is probably going to be darn near impossible, but do you have a few favorite items in here that you'd like to draw attention to?
You know, it's hard to say because there's so many neat things. I always love some of the old memorabilia that our haunted house used to have. You know, back in the day too, we were talking, haunted houses always had radio attached to them. So you can see EBN is smothered over that just because that's what you did back in the day as a haunted house. But there's some neat things. There's also like a brick from the schoolhouse that's over here. There's also just neat artifacts from haunted houses that no longer exist here.
Yeah, see, I love all this stuff. Man, look at that.
So even I'm finding things that I didn't know were actually in our museum. So my favorite thing would have to be this orange flyer right here, because that was, I believe, our last year that we did our yard haunt. So the Majestic Nightmare was mine and my dad's, and then the Nightmare Manor was Josh's. So that right there is just a good reminder of, like, you know, our dream of trying to own a haunted house, and now here we are 17 years later and we own a haunted house. So it's super cool.
You guys are doing more than owning a haunted house. You're creating memories for an area and region and for other people, and preserving stuff. So I am at a loss for words, so much respect. The Dent Schoolhouse here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've never seen anything like this before.
I'm blown away.
We have this constant thing that Jessica and I try to do, and well, we call it hunting Halloween. We're trying to find Halloween, like whenever you and I were kids growing up.
Yeah, it's like hunting a Halloween memory from your childhood almost, yes.
To me, this is it. This has everything. You feel like you've entered a world of Halloween. Like, I feel like a little kid again. I don't want to leave.
I feel like you can time travel through Halloween while you're here, see a little bit of every genre from different points in time. The more I kept seeing, the more I kept cussing throughout the night.
I've never heard you cuss as much as you did right now. Like,
I was just so surprised, so pleasantly surprised, so impressed by what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. It was so easy to fall into just wonderful conversation with the owners here because the passion is evident, the skill is evident. You don't.
You're kind of at a loss for words.
I am rambling. I am so happy to be here, and I am beside myself.
Well, here's the thing. This tour that we've been on is an attempt to show you, the viewer, what it's like to create a haunt, all the artistry and all the hard work that goes into it. Because a lot of times when you go through these things, you're too scared to notice it all. Or there's so much going on that you never really get to see it. But there's all these fine details. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stand behind it. Every haunt has a story to tell. And it's all good. It's any kind of creativity that goes into the Halloween season to help that grow, especially in a neighborhood, is amazing. But I personally am a huge fan of the ones that have a story to tell, like a complete story. Not like you walk in and there's 20 different rooms and there's 20 different stories. I want the house, the experience where you feel like you have entered a complete universe.
You've entered a storybook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Perfect. This place feels like a Halloween storybook, like
It
you would
does.
pick it up and read it to your child.
A very specific tale, too.
And then it'll scare you with sight, sound, smell, and touch. I've never experienced that before.
Aside from the house itself, which was terrifying, there were moments where I almost couldn't take it, which in my 40 years, I never thought that would come out of my mouth. But what they've created for you to go through for the queue and for the monster midway and everything else around it has me so bloody enchanted that I'm kind of almost near tears right now, just experiencing it. The emotions are running very high because it's so beautiful and it's a very cool night. So it feels very much like fall and we're getting close to Halloween and it feels perfect right now.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we're getting ready to end this video and we're gonna get some photos here where we first started this video out. And Jessica ran to the car
To get my
to
phone?
get her phone. And earlier you said that, man, I wish that they had some donuts in the midway. They
Yeah.
have food here. So while you're gone, I was talking to Bud and they can't turn that on, but the cafeteria is open. So they're gonna make us some donuts and you can eat some, I hope it's cinnamon donuts.
No, thank you.
Too bad. I
Not
signed
hungry.
you up for like 4 dozen.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
With that being
I
said,
would rather not go back there.
from the Dent Schoolhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio, thank you for joining us and happy
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.